Welcome to Tuesday with Terry, the podcast for getting your mind, business, and life in shape. Hosted by Terry Blachek, one of the original area developers for Orange Theory Fitness, who helped launch the brand from the very beginning. He'll use his years of experience to help you shape up your mind, build strong relationships with your teams, revamp your business processes, and set down the path towards success in all aspects of your life.
Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday again, and happy Tuesday. It's a great day. Every day is a great day. Every day is a new day. I'm talking to you live from Austin, Texas, where the sun is hot. Man, is it hot. It's getting hot, man. We've had a hot couple of weeks here. The barbecue is sweet, though. I got to tell you that. It is good barbecue down here. You got to come down and get some of that Texas barbecue. And the drinks are always free. If you hang out with me. How about that? I'll put a little rhyme to it. Okay. So today, what I want to talk about is, it's interesting when I talk a little bit sales and marketing with you, but just sales. I talk to salespeople all the time, and you got to make some appointments if you're a salesperson. And so what's the number one reason? I talk to salespeople and I say, how come we don't have more appointments? And they say, well, I just don't have anybody to call. And I said, well, is that the only reason? He said, well, I'm not exactly sure what to say. Any case, what I want to share with you today is, if you're a Orange Theory sales associate, front desk, member services, coach, owner, franchisee, man, this message is for you. And if you're not, you might get some tips out of it. But what I want to talk about is, a lot of times people don't understand list management. And so when someone says, I don't have anybody to call, that either means you don't have any leads, or you do have a lot of leads and contacts. You just don't know how to create a list. And so today, what I wanted to do is give you 15 different lists that you could create to make some outbound phone calls and become that master inviter. Now, I tell this story all the time, is if you've ever had a party at your house and you want 20, 30 people to show up, and you invite 20 or 30 people, do you think that everyone is actually going to show up? The answer is no. We know that people have problems, people have schedules, people have other things going on. Sometimes emergencies come up. Sometimes certain issues come up. Sometimes they couldn't find a babysitter. Sometimes they just already have something scheduled. So they can't get it done. They can't make it to the party. So if you want 20 or 30 people to show up, you have to invite 40 or 50 people, because some people aren't going to show up. If you invite 20 people and you have 5 people show up, not quite the party you were thinking of. So that being said, I want to give you some list of groups that you can create, and you can start having yourself, your sales team, your managers, or anyone to start reaching out and calling these folks and inviting them to come in, and inviting them to try your product or try your service at Orange Theory. Obviously, it's the workout, but it doesn't have to be. This could be for anybody. So the first list, here's 15, right? The first one is what we call missed guest. A missed guest is somebody that came in, they looked, they tried, but they didn't take any action, meaning they decided not to do it today. They wanted to think it over. Listen to one of my closing podcasts if you want to hear about how to close a sale. You got to tune into that. Go to the Tuesday with Terry website. It'll list all the podcasts. You can look for the one, 12 ways to close a sale, and another 12 ways. But anyway, sometimes people want to think it over, talk to the wife. The price is too high, whatever the answer is. But in case you did miss somebody, you have a laundry list of people that have tried it, but have not yet joined or signed up or bought your product or bought your service. There's your number one list. Number 2 is web leads. It's interesting to think about web leads. They're pretty hot. In the old days, we used to get telephone inquiries. People don't call in as much or use a telephone. They go to the web, they check out your product or service, they go on Yelp. And then what happens is they decide if they want to get some information, and they fill out a form. And again, that's the contact form, and you get that. Well, what happens is, most of the time, salespeople follow up one time and then they're done. And so we know that sales happens between 8 and 12 follow-ups. Remember that, 8 to 12. List it out on a piece of paper, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then ask yourself, with this particular web lead, how many times were they contacted? Go back in your records, your CRM, your Salesforce, whatever it is you're tracking. Did you follow up 1, 2, 3, 4? How many times did you actually follow up? So web leads, going back, and not just to last week, but go back to last month, go back to 3 months ago, 6 months ago, and pull all of those web leads, pick up the phone, and start inviting. Number 3 list is your no-show appointments. We all have appointments, and like the party, sometimes people don't show. Well, what happens when someone didn't show? Do you say, well, I guess they're not interested, I don't have to follow up, and then, nothing else happens? Or do you follow up relentlessly? Funny story, I went to a presentation for SoulCycle, if you know that brand, and asked the lady how SoulCycle was built. And she said, our coaches pleaded with our members. They pleaded with our members to bring in their friends and family. And a lot of times, if you're a salesperson or you're in the field of selling, what you say to yourself is, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to overextend. I don't want this person to feel like awkward. And all I'm suggesting is, many times you call people, you text people, or you email, and you'll get no response. You need to be a little bit more relentless and persistent. My phone has rung many times, and I don't recognize the number, and I won't answer it. And then it rings a little bit later in the day, and I don't answer it. And then at the end of the day, I look at my phone log, and it says, this person called you 3 times. And I go, I wonder who that was. Maybe I should call them back. Any case, no-show appointments, follow up. Your telephone inquiries, right? People that have called and requested information. You need a way to track that, by the way. You need a way to track every time that phone rings, every time someone clicks on your website. Are you tracking it? Because that, in fact, is someone that went, they looked, maybe they left, maybe they didn't make a transaction, maybe they were ready to make a transaction, but when it came time to pull out the credit card, they bounced and went someplace else. Number 5 is talk to your current customers or your current members. Man, people that signed up with you last month, people that signed up with you a month before that. If you have, at Orange Theory, you have 500 to 800 or 1,000 members at your studios. If you've got 500 members, you got 500 people to call right there. And plead with them like SoulCycle did. Plead with them to help you rebuild your business after COVID, and invite them to invite a friend. If you can call current members, then the next one is calling former members. And that's number 6, is calling former members. We call those win backs, right? But you have a list of people that have used your product in the past, have used your services in the past, Orange Theory members that were Orange Theory members in the past. Then call them and invite them in. And don't just say, hey, do you want to get another workout in? Make it personal. John, I wanted to give you a courtesy call. I see you'd been a member with us for a while. It looks like you've no longer with us. But by the way, I wanted to give you a personal call and personally invite you to come in. And as a matter of fact, I'd like to get a workout with you. Why don't you come in and work out with me and get that orange feeling again, get under those orange lights. Get back to that afterburn. In any case, make it personal. Former members. Corporate opportunities. Now, you know this. Everybody works for somebody. Now, you may have some kind of an intake form or a client profile. One of the pieces you should be asking on that client profile is, who is the company you work for, right? Find out who the company is. Call that person. Say who's in HR, and call the company and set up a corporate program for that particular company, or corporate rates for that particular company. That's number 7. Number 8 is your event leads, right? So we all have events. You go down to the farmer's market and people say, I'm interested, and they drop their name in a hat or in a box or a fishbowl. You go to the local grocery store and you set up a table and you talk to people and they say, yeah, I'd like to try that for a week, for a day, for 3 days, whatever it is. They drop their name, they spin to win. You have those little spinners, it says, what do you spin for? And you get some free chotch or you get some free workout time. Call those event leads. That's another list. Number 9, your personal production leads, right? That's what we call belly to belly, nose to nose, and toes to toes. What are those? Well, that's when I'm out in the parking lot I'm out at Starbucks, I'm out at GNC, or I'm at the mall, and I happen to talk to somebody, or I happen to have them fill out a tear-off pass, and it has a name and a contact. Those are my production leads. Those are people that I talk to. And I'm always talking about Orange Theory Fitness. And I'm always prospecting. I'm always prospecting. I love McDonald's coffee, by the way. True story. I like it as good or better than Starbucks. I think they make some pretty darn good coffee. But I'll go there and I get my ticket. I hand the guy behind a window. I give him a guest pass. And I try to get his name and contact and invite him and the other people at McDonald's to come on in and get a free workout. I'm just telling you, I'm always prospecting. Your personal production, number 9. Number 10, can I ask you a question? Yeah, I'm talking to you. And if I ask you right now, in case of an emergency, we had a real emergency here, something happened, building's on fire, the water main breaks, you're not feeling so good, you're getting sweat beads, you got chest pain, and in case of an emergency, who should I call? Yeah, who should I call? If I said somebody, you're in trouble, and I need somebody to call, who should I call? Who would you want me to call in case of an emergency for you? That's how easy it is to ask for a referral. That's how easy it is to get in case of an emergency. So all I'm suggesting is everybody has somebody in case of an emergency. You got that list? Get the list. That's what I'm talking about. That's number 10 in case of an emergency. Now, we have something called client intake form. And on our intake form, we have everybody list in case of an emergency. Who should we call along with a phone number? There's a lead. There's another person to call. You got 500 members. You now have 500 in case of emergency people. You got 500 members to call. You now have 500 in case of emergency people to give a buzz and invite them to come in and use your program. Number 11 is you got to go back to your old logs. And what do I mean by that? In Orange Theory Fitness, we have people sign in. If you're not a member, you sign in on a register. Basically, it's a waiver. But you got to go back to those old logs, those old books, those old registers. Not from just last month, but go back 6 months ago. And you say, well, those people didn't want to join. You're absolutely right. But may I ask you a question? Sure, Terry, ask me a question. Have things changed in your life in the last 6 months? They have for me. Do you have a new job? Do you have a new apartment? Do you have a different car? Something's got to have changed in the last 6 months. Well, things change for people all the time. And maybe it wasn't right for them back in November, December, but maybe it's right for them now. Maybe they're really thinking about the summer and they're getting ready to go on that boat cruise, like my good friend Tiffany. Maybe they're thinking about going to Europe, like my good friend Bethany. But maybe they're thinking about, getting ready for getting into that dating scene, like my good friend Dave. And so what I'm suggesting is things change in people's lives. Don't be afraid to go back 6 months, 3 months, a year, and look for those old dormant leads that you had and start calling them. Number 12. Adopt a lead. Adopt a lead. What in the wide world of sports is adopt a lead? Adopt a lead is basically where you take a former employee and you look either in the CRM, you look in the tracking that you have, their old books, their old logs, and you adopt their leads. And you get those leads and you begin to follow up on those. Former employee leads. That's number 12. Number 13 is, now this is personal. When you don't have anybody else to invite, you look at your own friends and your own families. If I said, take out a white sheet of paper, a blank sheet of paper, and put a list of your friends, put a list of your family members. Some of them may live close, some of them may not live close, but start with your friends and family. Have they tried your product? Have they tried your service? And number 14, everybody's got a cell phone on them. And did you know that everybody in your cell phone have at least 200 contacts? 200! Man, I'm talking about 500 members to call. I'm talking about 500 in case of emergencies. I'm talking about 200 people on your phone. Now, I know everybody doesn't live close to you or may not be able to use your product, but I'll bet you if you took the time and you scrolled through those 200 contacts, and many of you have more than 200, I know I do, you'd probably find a handful of people that you could share your program, your product, your service with, and invite. What's the worst thing that can happen? Are they going to eat you? When you invite somebody, are they going to jump through that phone? They're going to jump through the computer? They're going to jump through the text message and they're going to eat you? You're going to get eaten alive. You go, oh my gosh, I can't do that. No, that's crazy, right? That's never going to happen. That's the worst that would ever happen. We know that's not going to happen. So what the hell are you waiting for? Start inviting people, man. Come on. And the last one is social media. This is number 15. Number 15 is we're all on social media. I don't care if it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it, YouTube. So use Facebook, use Instagram. You have friends, and have you actually gone through and looked at who your friends are? And I know for me, I have a lot of people that are more acquaintances than are actually friends on my Facebook or my Instagram. All I'm suggesting, you have a list to work with. So when somebody says to me, I don't have anybody to call, I go, wait a minute. Here's 15 different lists that you can create with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to call. As they used to say in the NFL, you make the call. Get the list, make the call, get more appointments, make more sales, make more money. My name's Terry. I'm your friend. Good luck.